All right, so for this week's topic, I chose the Scotia Plate. The reason why I chose this one is because I knew little to nothing about it and I wanted to learn more about it. All right, so the Scotia Plate, it's a smaller plate found in between the southern Atlantic and Antarctic oceans. It is made out of mostly oceanic crust, but it does have some fragments of continental crust that we have found. Because at one point or another, the bottom of the South American continent and Antarctica at one point in time connected, but now it's not anymore. But there is some evidence of continental crust in this plate as well. So the two plates that border the Scotia Plate is one, the South American plate and the Antarctic plate. The South American plate, it kind of overlaps it a little bit, but mostly the Antarctic plate is on the southern part of it. All right, so the type of plate motion. The plate motion is a transformed boundary in between the South American plate and Antarctic plates. It is moving left lateral, pushing this way towards the South American plate. Even though it is a transform boundary, there are some signs showing that there is a divergent boundary. It's not that big, but just a little bit. We know this because of the ESR, which is the Eastern Scotia Ridge. But yeah. All right. So why do we know that the Scotia Plate has a transform boundary? Maybe a little bit of a divergent boundary, but mostly transform boundary. So, man, I should have really zoomed in on these. But so we know basically the Scotia Plate is in between. It's like between the two little tips here on both of the edges of the continents. So for earthquakes, there's not a whole lot of action in between, like main part of the plate. But as we can see here, there is some red over here indicating that there is signs of earthquakes and seismic activity. But since again it's a transform boundary and they aren't really, I guess, colliding, they're just moving alongside of each other. But where there is a small divergent boundary near the ridge, there is some seismic activity. Same thing kind of with volcanoes. There is some on the tip of Antarctica where the Scotia Plate kind of is, but mostly, again, it's by the eastern Scotia Ridge where we see the most volcanic activity. All right, so a continued. So we see for the seafloor, mainly, it's pretty young, about 20, around the 20s here. But it is a little bit younger, we can see by the ridge, because when the ridge is forming, it's spreading apart, allowing that new material to come up and then push the sediment back, creating new ocean floor, and pushing the rest of the seafloor out. I mean, mostly it's pretty new ocean flooring through here. So for the topography and the elevation of this plate, it's pretty low. There is some lower points around here. You can see that there's a little bit of purple around here, but there is some by their divergent boundary. There is some elevation near that ridge that we can see here. It gets into like that tealish color, but it's not that significant. But you can kind of honestly see where the plate is because of the topography here. So thank you for watching my video. If you have any questions, please reach out. But thank you for watching.